Hi Scrubs, I hope you're well. So we're back in Star Stable. I've got Altair with me and we're going to go ahead here and do a little bit more of the druid training. I actually have made a load of progress here which will go and collect the rewards. I haven't collected any of the rewards. You'll see we've made quite the little leap. As you can see, I haven't collected any rewards since about 17,000, so we're going to go ahead here and I'm going to do these here quests. I'm starting to get bored of some of these particular training things. The missions are a bit more varied than some of the training is right now. Okay, my horse is also leveled up. Walter's gone up a level. Right. I'm hoping to finish Altair today, possibly. Might not do it from this, but I can always hope, right? Obstacle carousel, right? This is the one I always do terribly at. But I do have, like, I don't know, a method to doing this. It's to get up behind it and then to go much slower than I am. There we go. So a counter or the slow gallop, just so that I can keep it in sight, and if I get a wee bit too far behind then I sort of jump closer in the middle, and if I need to make more space I go to the edge and jump there. Right, come on Altair. This one takes so much concentration for me. So it does, honestly. Sometimes I just try to go too quickly and then I mess up. But some of these you could do with your eyes closed, you know. Some of the training, like Shadow Seekers, and I think the lightning on the floor one, the symbol one as well, those would be the ones I would consider probably, at this point, kind of boring, because I've done them so many times. The carousel keeps me on my toes because I mess up so often on it, but some of the other ones not so much. Right, what else have we got today? We have Switch Lanes. This one is the one that I like the least. I think this is the symbol one, I think. Because there was one day I was doing this and I was just like, well, how much time can I, do I need to like fling myself onto the next lane, or can I just sort of glide over? Of course, that was the day that I failed it like multiple times. But I think it's because I find with this is you get a certain pattern with it. I don't really see any variation with this one, so I think that's why this one is probably my least favourite druid training. Actually, that would be a good question. This will probably not just be my only question for today, but which is your least favourite druid training exercise out of all of the training? Not the missions, because the missions are a bit different, but these. Like, which is your least favourite? Is it the one where you collect lights? Is it the symbol one? The lightning one? The one you have to jump over the stuff? Switching lanes? Shadow Seekers? Which one of those do you personally find to be your least favourite? Because I think if I had to pick, it's probably between this and the symbols for me. At least some of the other ones I don't find that I get quite as bored with. This one, I think it's because it's the same pattern every single time. I know where it's going. So it always starts and finishes the same for me, at least. From what I've noticed, anyway. I don't think we're going to get to the next reward today, but we do have a little backup of rewards. Right, all of our training's done. Right, we've got to go help the Pandorian creatures. So our scouts have reported a tiny rift of Pandoria has opened up. Normally a rift this size would collapse on itself before long. Okay, that's the one we have to, like, get the Pandoras back in together. Right. We're going to go to Steve's and run over from there and do this. So the last day I had asked you guys, what did you think about the frequency of horses, whether it was regular or wilds, like, mostly wilds, because I personally was feeling like we're getting wilds too often. And you guys were sort of saying that you would want them maybe only 3 times a year. Possibly, that was what one of you said. So we had enough time to save up for them. And with the normal horses, probably, every 2 or so months. And then another of you said that you sort of want a magical horse that could go through trees and stones. And to be quite honest, I think that would be good too, because I run into that stuff all the time. But yeah, you agreed that getting special horses, maybe 2 to 3 times a year would be more than sufficient, really. So and you know, that idea of anticipation, to be excited, because I think that's the problem. Like, the wild horses to me always need to be something that you don't get often. And as much as I do like the designs of them, I think we're just getting them too frequently. Right, we need to get these panda rays, because I think that's what I was saying in the podcast, if any of you have listened to it already or not. The one where we had the author of the Soul Riders books, Helena, on. We were talking about wild horses at a later point in the podcast, and for me, I just feel like the way that we got the Talina and Campos in between Thoroughbred and the Quarter Horse, it made them not as exciting, because I don't have the same amount of time to spend with them. And I know that probably sounds silly, but the best way to put it is, whenever I train my horses, that is the time that I start to, like, get to know that horse, right? And as you know, I train all of my horses. So with Talina and Campos kind of got abandoned because I was more focused on my Quarter Horse and I was more focused on my English Thoroughbred. So I got more time to spend with Jean and Heidi and Clem than I did with Kalina, than I did with Talina and Campos. Oh my god, I cannot say their names. And I have yet to give them pet names, as you can tell. I'm still using the ones that I can't say, their proper names. So for me, that is kind of why, because I feel like you need that time to sort of spend with them to, you know, get to know the horse. And I know that they're pixel horses. I do. Like, I don't deny that. But for me, I like, you know, to get that time to train them and stuff. I mean, for example, Bob and Bob is a horse that, like, I got so frustrated with when I trained. Like, Bob drove me mad, as did Dougal, my old Dwarvic pony. Them two actually, like, made me kind of go a bit crazy. I was kind of mad when I was training them, but that was still a part of it. You know, it's still a part of the process. Oh, I didn't think I was actually going to get that done a couple of times there, but... And then, like, there's other horses that, like, the more time I spend with, the more fond I get, you know? So, alright, we're going to return to the paddock. So, for me, that's kind of why I don't want them as frequently, because I don't think I get that same kind of time. And then Prince was one of the first Jorvik Wilds that came out, and he was a nightmare to train. An absolute nightmare, right, when you save a horse. These are usually the ones that I'm really bad at. That's like Starshine Ranch, so I'm just going to straight up go get in the trailer and go to Starshine Ranch for this. And ironically, actually, all of the wild horses are back today. Right, where were we going? Starshine Ranch. Right. So, yeah, like, that is kind of why I think I like them less frequently, you know. I also would like them to build kind of a story around the wild horses, because I feel like right now we don't really have that, you know. Like Gary Goldtooth appears, but we don't really know anything, you know, not a huge amount about Gary, or, you know, why, or how, or anything, which is... I know we get a little bit about the horses in the description, but I'd like a little bit of actual story. I think that would be super fun. Whether that happens maybe in the future, whenever they open up more of the map, I don't know. But it'd be nice to kind of find out a little bit more. And I think the other thing about Kalina and, or Talina and Campos, see, I cannot say their names to save my life, is the fact that because they look like they're going to be horses that go into the water and change colour, I was kind of like, they don't, and this makes me a little bit sad, because I think it would have been really awesome if whenever they stood in water, they would change colour. So, as seahorses, I feel like they should have. This is going to drive me nuts. I really struggle with the horse ones. The only one I hate more than the horse ones is the drone. I think my favourite is probably the panda rays, and I like... What other mission do I actually like? Would be my preferred one. I'm trying to remember all of the missions that I've done. Some of the corrupted horses and stuff. Do you know, I'll tell you the missions I don't like. The missions where you're surrounded by loads and loads of trees. because I run into everything. That's what I hate whenever we have mission placements that are beside mountains, or there's loads and loads of trees within that area. This is actually quite clear, so I don't mind this. This is actually going to be quite an easy horse one today. Yeah, so that's done. But, that is kind of like my feelings on the wild horses. I don't know if that made any sense whatsoever. You can let me know. Right, okay, that's that victory achieved. Alright, we're going to go back to the paddock, actually, because I want to go and collect the rewards that we had. Alright, let's see what rewards I have, because I don't know, because I have several. Right, claim. Okay, so what is it? This is a lore book, The Girl Who Talked to Horses, Part 2. Right, where do I see this? Oh yeah, here. Okay. Well, I did it. I took Rhiannon to meet Fripp. He couldn't stop pestering me. He wouldn't stop pestering me. And if she does have the gift, there is no point trying to stand in the way of destiny, right? Rhiannon is strong with the lightning circle, strong enough to become one of the four. Please, Aideen, don't let that be the case. Another sisterhood so soon. I've barely had time to mourn. It's too much to ask of her, and of me. In the meantime, I share that what I can about our traditions. I teach Rhiannon about Aideen's gift and soul writing. As we walk the hollow woods together, I teach her the names of the flowers and the birds. And she tells me of the true names of the horses in our stables and the wilds who live by the lake. The wild, whispering gift is strong with her, stronger perhaps than it is with Herman. Her gifts are many, but as I know all too well, it can be a burden too great for one person to bear. She seems happy here. I hope she'll stay and join the Keepers of Aideen. She needs us, and we need her. From the Journals of Elizabeth Sunbeam, 10 years ago. Cool. Okay, so we're sort of seeing some of the perspective of her. Those jeans look nice. So, I think those are their next Northern Druid pants. Let's claim those. Let's have a quick... Yeah, those are quite nice. And then... I'll put those back on. What are the stats? Stats are pretty good, actually. Hold on, I want to say those again. Jumping. Yeah, those druid pants are pretty good stats, like. Okay, now... Item bundle. I hope I have enough space. So I have a load of plants and things. Ah, right, I could put these on. Right, okay. I could put those on, and then we have some space here. Right. Vanilla Dream and Flower Powder. Okay, and then what's next? Another lore book. Okay. Oh, looks like we can talk to Rhiannon as well. Let's have to this. Okay, let's see the next part of the lore book. Today the sun shines a little dimmer on our village. Rhiannon is leaving. She isn't leaving Yorvik or even the Druids. She'll only be a day or two right away. And yet it feels like I'm losing a little sister. There's a sect of Druids to the north who live by a different code. They live on the land like frontier explorers of a bygone era. Some among them call themselves the Wild Wardens, and see it as their sacred duty to protect the feral horses of Yorvik from those who would do them harm. They believe that horses should live wild and free, only taking a rider by choice. There are some among them who live alongside horses their entire lives without ever finding a horse to bond with. That is a lifestyle I cannot imagine. I love Calliope like family, just as I loved Concord before her. Rhiannon has decided to apprentice to the Wardens. With her wild whispering gift, she will be quite an asset for their order. I told her she is also welcome to return to Veiltail. The Keepers of Aideen will keep their seat open in the stone circle. If you can believe it, Fripp tried to convince her to stay, even though the stars and runes do not point to her becoming a soul rider. Would you stay if... No, Rhiannon says her mind is made up. She's not comfortable in a village among stables. She needs to find her own path. I hope she finds her soul horse, a starbreed with whom she can truly bond. Please, Aideen, do not let her become one of those who talk to horses but never find their match. Watch over her as she protects your blessed herds. Farewell, Rhiannon, my runaway bird. Taken by the wind, my heart tells me we will meet again. Please don't wait too long. From the Journals of Elizabeth Sunbeam, 10 years ago. Okay. Then I think we can claim the shirt as well. Okay, let's have a look at the shirt. I think I prefer the pants to the shirt. I think out of those two. Alright, so the next one is lore book. Okay, we still got a couple of lore books, obviously, through here. We're so far off this. I know a lot of people have already reached, like, here. I am so far behind, but this is what happens. Right, let's go talk to Rhiannon here and see what she has to say. Drahoslava, we should talk. You're almost ready to learn something important about your training. But first, I need to tell you something. When I left Vildil to be a wild warden in the north, I left for a reason. Because of something I saw. What did you see? Why would you leave? For the longest time, I thought there was only one side to magic. The side that wants to help people, to bring them together. Magic that wishes wellness on the world. And then I saw them. One night while riding the forest paths, I came across a hooded figure. Wait a minute, I haven't heard this story. If you'd have kept quiet, we'd still be hearing it. This was intended to be a conversation between Drahoslava and I. The more the merrier. I'll go grab some cheese doodles. We can gather around and listen to Rhiannon's story. We're sorry for intruding. No snacks, Alex. Something tells me this isn't that kind of story. Very well. If you stay quiet, I will continue. Where was I? The hooded figure stood in the middle of the path. Maybe it was the darkness, but it was as if they'd appeared out of nowhere. I didn't have the time to react, and before I knew it, my horse at the time, a cheeky Icelandic called Frekkur, was halting to a stop. He didn't even rear in fright. He just stood there, frozen. The figure raised a hand as if they were going to pet him. And then I felt it. The feeling like the life was sucked out of me. I listened and all the sounds of the forest were gone. I could feel my horse growing weaker under me. And I realized my wild whisper instincts were making me feel like this. My connection to nature, to horses. Whatever that hooded figure was doing was draining the life out of everything. I had to get out. So I did. I turned Frekkur around with all of the strength I had and urged him to get out of there. We galloped the whole way home. Could it have been a dark rider? Perhaps. Or someone with the wild whispering gift who twisted it for dark purposes. There are many dangerous forces out there who operate outside of Aiden's light. It doesn't matter who they were. What matters is what I felt. My bond with the horses on Jorvik, the source of my strength, the most valuable thing to me in the world, it just disappeared. I had come to take Aiden's light for granted, and suddenly I was in the dark. In time I managed to restore my bond with horses. When I found my beloved Nick sometimes later, at the moment my perspective on the virtues of magic was shattered, with the knowledge that it used to harm horses and break the sacred bond. It scared me. I couldn't go on knowing that horses could be in danger. So I fled in fear and confusion, up to northern Jorvik, where I lived among nature as a wild whisperer, the only way I knew how to protect the horses from such danger. What made you come back? But you're here now, aren't you, to stay? Elizabeth needed my help. I refused at first, but she made me realize I had an important part to play in helping the druids, so I came back for a bit, just to help Elizabeth. But then I saw how close the Soul Riders had become, and how their bond had strengthened their magic. I decided to stay here because strength really is in numbers. I wasn't sure what I was thinking when I left Vildil. I was driven by my fear. But you're Rhiannon, the fearless wild whisperer, kicker of backsides, and the most serious person I know. How could you ever be so scared? Even the strongest of people get scared sometimes, Alex. Very well put, Linda. What really opened my eyes was you, Drahoslava. Your dedication, skill, and sheer talents has given me faith in Aiden's light, and that I haven't felt for a while. I may not be the most powerful druid, but I know if I do what I can, our strength in numbers will ensure no harm comes to the innocent. No matter how strong you are, or how in touch with your magical side, the light of Aiden lives through us when we form a strong bond with horses. You're right, and even if there are dark forces out there that try and break the bond, it's still worth trying. Now that's enough reminiscing for today. It's time to get back to your soul riding duties. Come on, you didn't even get to the good part. Alex is right. You didn't even speak about the most important thing. Enough has been said for today, but there is still one more thing to tell. Drahoslava, soon we will go into nature, and I will reveal the final thing you need to know. I need to prepare things first. I will let you know when it's time. Interesting. Where'd everyone go? Oh, she's over there. Okay. Let's see what she has to say. I need a moment. I'll let you know when we can discuss this further. Oh, okay. It's time for me to explain one last thing to you. Saddle up and follow my lead. Okay. There's the wild horses. Have you ever noticed there's something different in the nature of Jorvik? The grass is greener, the birds are sweeter, but most importantly, the horses are happy and free. They have all this land to roam, and we Jorvikans share this land with them. This connects us to horses on a deeper level. The other druids put so much focus on the soul riders, guardian horses, Aideen herself, but they forget to see the magic that's right before their eyes. The magic of Aideen's gift. I already know that. That's what they all say. Kind of I don't know. Is that so? You've probably heard folk talk about it as if it's some kind of friendship between horse and human, but it's so much more than that. It's what pulled me to travel up north to care for the magical horses. It's what made Nick so special to me. It's even why I'm a wild whisperer. On Jorvik, our deep bond with horses is magical. You've been training exceptionally well. During this time, the bond you have developed with Dark Moon has flourished. But you haven't just strengthened the bond between the both of you. You connected with the nature of Jorvik on a deeper level. With that, you've honed a magical link to all horses on this island. Close your eyes. Listen to the sound of nature around us. Can you feel how everything is connected? Well, I guess everything is connected, but I'm not really sure. That's alright. The skill takes time to develop. Sometimes, if you focus closely, you may notice a spark of something powerful. That's the presence of a wild horse. It's one of the ways the wild wardens sense they're nearby and ensure their safety. So now you know, Aideen's gift ties us to all the horses on Jorvik, and is something to treasure. You can use this knowledge to improve your riding skills. Pay close attention to your horse and the horses around you, and you will find harmony. This is what I wanted to share with you weeks ago, but I thought you weren't ready to understand. However, I was wrong. Your dedication to soul riding has proven just how much you care for the horses on this island. I'm proud of you, Drahoslava. Thank you for helping protect the horses on Jorvik. Let's head back. I'm sure you're eager to continue the last leg of your training. Where'd the wild horses go? Aideen's gift is a powerful thing. I can see how it has grown within you during your time in Jorvik, and I've seen it manifest during the missions I've been sending you on. Keep nurturing this gift. Keep it close to your heart. Wise words of a wild whisperer completed. So we're not far off getting another lore book, and then after that we've got quite a few little lore books quite close together. But yeah, I'll probably make a bit more progress and then continue on with that. So yeah, no, I think it's interesting how this is developing actually. Wasn't necessarily what I was expecting. I'm not quite sure what I was expecting. I think I was only expecting to get those little snippets of Elizabeth's journals, but not anything extra really outside of that, so it has been interesting. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there, Scrubs. I hope you still have a day, and bye!